Yay, we're
Hey.
live. Hi,
Hello.
everyone. Hopefully, we're not muted or anything else.
Hello. No, not
That
this
always
time.
happens at the beginning of a stream.
Not this
Um,
time.
Not this time. Okay, yeah, welcome back to Silver and Steel, our
Mhm.
Witcher TTRPG game that we are currently playing through a whole campaign. Oh, thank you, Kelly, for hosting our stream today. And yeah, so we're picking up where we left off. Well, last time in session one, we met all of our characters: Rhiannon, the Griffin School Witcher; Maeve, the Sorceress; and Katrine, the Doctor, who, no matter how we say her name, is not going to appear correctly on the subtitles because it just does not register. Um, and yeah, so Rhiannon, take me through what you did last session.
The whole thing or just the recent
Uh,
stuff?
Basically, like the recent stuff that you did last session.
Okay. Um
Just like a quick recap bullet point.
uh yeah, so basically Rhiannon was on her way. She was on the road from one town to the next. Um she found alone some drowner that she made short process of, and then she heard from a nearby village, which's name was something with Ada.
It's the town of Adaden.
Adadan, yeah, that's
Adened,
right.
sorry. Adened. It'd be good
Adanet.
if I got my own places right, right? Yeah, Adened and Temeria. That's where you currently are.
Yeah. She heard screaming about a monster there, so she made haste and galloped right in there, and basically only came shortly too late to see the corpse of a man who apparently got killed by something that may have been a wraith. She wasn't sure
Mm-hmm.
because some stuff didn't quite fit. And then some annoying fucking sorceress appeared who didn't want to like go away. So she had to deal with that by ignoring her mostly. And yeah, she followed the tracks of said monster, um, and pretty much found it. And that's where we left off.
Yep. And Maeve, take me through you and what you did.
Well, Maeve had a very lovely meal with the lady of this town, and by lovely, she insulted her a bunch, and
Mhm.
it was it was a normal dinner, you know. From there, they got news that the monster had struck again, so Maeve excused herself from this lovely dinner and went to go find what chased down the monster.
Mhm.
When she got there, she kind of told everyone to get inside their houses. Then she met this witcher who just seems always so grumpy. They always seem really grumpy though, so I guess this is just the thing witchers are always.
Mm.
And from there, she followed the witcher, ended up coming across two people that had a really strange looking person trapped, and then they shot at the witcher.
Okay. And Katrine, take me through what
Yeah,
you did.
Katrin, I um, kind of stumbled upon a wounded man in a back alley and tried to save his life from the really ugly stab wound he had. And while he struggled, he touched my bare skin and instantly died. And I turned more monstrous than ever before. And in my panic, I ran away, was spotted by a girl, and just continued to run away until I accidentally stumbled into a trap set by two bounty hunters who were about to kill me or capture me
Mm-hmm.
when so a witcher and a sorcerer showed up. and I cut myself loose while they were distracted, and I'm about to book it.
Okay. So the crossbow bolt then we're picking up has gone off, Rhiannon, and is aimed straight for you. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Mhm. Yes. Mhm.
No, Nova, you're not coming through on the game, apparently, according to Aya.
I was muted. Haha.
Oh, whoops.
I was muted on Streamlabs because apparently that was a thing.
Gotta love it. At least it didn't delete your source of it.
Yeah. And DK the friend, just because I just saw that, we're not all playing humans. Katrin is human, Rhiannon is a witcher, which is technically a human, but not really, and Maeve is an elf.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna roll my thing, which is a 10. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 17 for the deflect
Oh,
arrow.
okay then. Yeah, so you not only got through the one band, you got through my second band that I'd put in place. Because a lower roll would have just been a block, and a higher roll, which you have achieved. Okay, so this bolt comes flying at you, and it's like all your witcher senses just hone in straight on the bolt. And you basically just briefly lift up the sword, your wrist twisted to take the impact. The bolt hits the groove of your sword and just basically hooks back round and is deflected with your sort of swing forward back towards Varin, the elven bandit who shot you.
Nice.
So you can roll damage.
What do I roll for that?
What is a crossbow bolt usually? Crossbows.
Let's see.
3 or 46, probably.
Let me just check.
Crossbow. A normal crossbow is 4d6 plus 2.
Okay, so
Jeez.
what I would do is do 2d6 plus 1 because you're basically not actually using the crossbow itself, you're just hitting the bolt back.
I'm pretty sure there's like a specific thing for ricochet damage,
sure.
but I don't have it in my head right now.
We'll look that up for next time, just this time.
Yeah. So
I'll say
2d6.
it's because you rolled like a full 10 to hit it back, so. Yeah.
So 2d6 you said, right?
Plus 1. Yeah.
Okay. So that's that's 2 6s.
Oh damn. Okay. Ooh.
So
Oof.
Ouch.
that's 13 points of damage to I think a random spot on the damage location.
Yep.
So I'm gonna roll a d10 for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 7, so that's the right leg.
Oh right. Okay. Okay. So how many points of damage was that again? Did you say
13?
13? Okay.
And the damage location thing says that the damage is halved, but I think that's only for called shots. So I don't know if that applies or not.
Okay. I think it might apply.
I think it does, yeah.
Yeah. So half that is, and you round down in The Witcher, so it's 6.
Hmm.
Okay, give me a second. I am so bad at math.
So basically, Rhiannon just does, like, for anyone who has seen the Witcher Netflix series, the first episode where
The Butcher of Blaviken scene.
Yeah, where Geralt deflects the crossbow bolt. She does exactly that. Only it kind of ricochets back right into his leg.
Yeah, right into her leg. And it's high enough to like basically this bolt like immediately snaps back with the force that you put behind it. It hits Varin in the leg. Did you say lower or upper leg? Which one was it? Sorry.
I didn't specify, but I guess it would be like the The
thigh.
yeah, the
Go for the
thigh.
thigh? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And where there's like a sort of banded plate sort of strapped onto that leg, it basically like punctures through the plate and into her leg. And she screams and drops the crossbow. And it clatters to the floor. You know, she just basically like falls down slightly, holding onto her leg, screaming. That kind of seems to shake Olsen up a bit, the human bandit. And you see him sort of tentatively, he's got his sword out, but he doesn't seem to know what to do.
Yeah. Rhiannon is like she had her sword like pointed at them. Then she did the reflect, and now she gives them like she totally looks unfazed, but she does like a neck crack, and then she like, I warned you.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah, Olsen kind of takes a moment, like looking between Varen, who's on the floor still screaming in pain, and then you, the Witcher and the Sorceress. And he looks at you, Maeve, and he says, Sorceress, ain't nothing to do with you, and the lady won't want you dead yet. I got business to deal with in this Witcher.
Yet.
What would you like to do, Maeve? You've been offered an out.
Maeve kind of looks at them and just says, you might best be served leaving now. I don't think you want to be butchered by the Witcher, and I really don't want to have to light you on fire. As she kind of like a small orb of fire just kind of appears in her hand. Run.
Okay, yeah. He kind of again, like, you know, he's kind of in that position of like wanting to do something, but at the same time being afraid of to him, non-humans. You know, there's a Witcher and there's a whole legend of witches being evil, and then there's a sorceress who, like, even if they are viewed as like humanoid, they're kind of like revered because like really strong powers and stuff that like humans don't typically have. And he is kind of torn for a moment and looks at you directly, Katrine, and then scowls. He basically like storms over to Varen, grabs her by the arm, ignoring her like screams of pain, and like basically like drags her with him, and he points at you two. Once he sheathed his sword, he points at Maeve and at Rhiannon, and he says, "Ain't over yet, bitches. I'll fucking have my say." And he leaves, like dragging poor Varen, who's like screaming still and limping, along with him. And he leaves the crossbow, which, as you can see now, it's like where it hit the ground. It's kind of like dented on one side, and it's kind of useless now from where it hit the cobblestones. And he just leaves that behind.
Yeah, Rhiannon doesn't even say anything when they leave. She's just kind of like "Arr." when they leave. She's like, yeah, fuck off. And then she puts her sword away.
Catherine looks to the sorceress and the Witcher and is really not sure what to do. She looks kind of jumpy. Like she's about to like get the like she's looking like she's about to run away again because
yeah, Rhiannon, you slipped out of the trap, right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, Rhiannon has her sword put away, and then she kind of like straightens herself out. She's like, okay, and then she looks at Katrin. She's like, now to you. And she kind of like, are you still like sitting on the ground or something?
She's standing, I would say, because she I think she didn't fall from the from the trap. She kept.
Okay. Yeah. Then in that case, Rhiannon would just like take a step forward, like towards Katrin, not in any threatening way, just like to get closer and examine her. And she kind of looks her up and down, and she's like, "So you're the monster, huh?"
So they say, Hexa.
Rhiannon chuckles without smiling, and she says, "What happened back there with the guy? Tell me."
I tried to save his life. Someone had stabbed him, and I tried to save him, and then he touched my skin, and that was the end of it. I cannot help it. Just don't come any closer. I don't want to risk it.
And at this point in the street that you're in, you kind of see the curtains and the shutters kind of move on some of the windows, and people are clearly looking at you all. This is, you're kind of being not essentially spied on, but people are definitely interested in what you're doing.
Yeah. Maeve kind of walks over now closer to them. Says, we should probably try and get out of here. Screaming generally is an attraction for eyes.
And Katrine, you actually have a kind of place to hide away in this town.
I have a place we can go. It's not the nicest, but at least we can talk in peace.
Yes, I have some
I don't think I could get away
questions.
from you anyway. And she looks to Rhiannon because, well,
Nope. After you.
yeah. Katrine just pulls up a hood and pulls up, now that she has a little bit more time, her face mask again, so that she's not as easily recognized, and hides her hands below like her sleeves, just pushes them in a little bit, and leads them towards her little hut.
And before they leave, Maeve will kind of stoop down and pick up the crossbow and kind of look at it for a moment and just kind of toss it in her bag.
Okay.
Rhiannon just like, she doesn't really look, but like out of like the corner of her eye, and just kind of scoffs a little. Like, she doesn't say anything, but she's just like to herself, like, what does a witch mage do with the crossbow?
Air bolts.
Yeah, you led through this sort of back streets, kind of to the far edge of the town. Katrine leads you, and it's clear that Katrine, you know these streets very, very well, for good reason. And you eventually make it to what must be Katrine's dwellings, home, if you want to call it that. It's an old abandoned smithy. And next to it is a very dilapidated adjoining stable, which is completely inaccessible. The door and everything is sort of fallen in, the roof is sagged inwards. The whole thing is just constructed of now rotting timbers. There is fractured brickwork. The roof tiles are shattered, and the windows are boarded up from the inside. And the glass that remains in any of the window panes is kind of dirtied or cracked. And you go inside because you can actually access the house that used to be part of this smithy. You can't access the rest of it, but the main house, and it becomes very clear when you're inside, you can only really access the bottom floor. There is no way to get up onto the second floor because the stairs have sort of caved in. On this one side, there's just like a mound of rubble and things like that, just sort of collapsed on the floor. And inside is very simple, basic dwellings. There is a simple cot. The floor is completely dusty. It's almost centimeters thick in dust. You can actually see where people, well, Catherine has like walked around in here. It's that dusty. And there is an old fireplace with, sort of cold ashes in the bottom of it. And a few candles are dotted around, and there seems to be like a little tinderbox on the table. Yeah, you guys are now in what must be Catherine's home.
On corner, you can see like a very makeshift kind of bed. Some supplies like foodstuffs, like remnants of a last meal lying around. You do notice that from what you can see lying around, it seems to be very meat-based currently. There's a half-eaten bread, but it seems to be not in the most not the favorite food.
Rhiannon doesn't even like she doesn't make a face or like scoffs or scrunches her nose or whatever. She's used to worse.
Maeve,
So-
however, does scrunch her face up and kind of looks around with a little bit of definitely a judging look of this place.
As a witcher, Rihanna, this is kind of nice compared to places that you've stayed before. And it certainly beats sleeping out on the road, on the path.
At least it has a roof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has a roof. It's not directly accessible to monsters, which is usually a plus in your line of work. Yeah.
Catherine says, "Welcome to my castle. Don't worry, those are not human bones. It's chicken."
That's good to know. And
Maeve kind of gives her a look. Shakes her head.
Rhiannon is very like nonchalant, just kind of looks for the nearest thing that she can use as like a little stool, like I don't know, like a pod or like a piece of wood or something, and just kind of sits down.
Yeah, there's like an old bucket in the corner that you could like upturn and sit on.
Yeah, she just kind of like sits on the bucket and like really like slouch forward, like with her elbows on her knees. She's like, so how does one, or how did you come by being like this? What happened?
I'm not quite sure. There's a recent thing. The last couple of weeks it started. When I touch someone, they die. Just right in front of my eyes. Immediately. It's unsettling and not exactly useful in what I do with what I want to do. I want to help people. I want to heal people, but my hands, whenever I touch something, it just dies.
Does Maeve know anything that sounds like this? Like any...
You could do a magical training check.
Right.
Can I?
And Rhiannon, you could do a Witcher knowledge.
Nice.
Check.
That's a 10. So I roll again and add that to it. I can't remember what it is for the crit. Success.
Are there even like crit successes for skills?
I know there's crit fails in
Not
this
for
one. Not for skill checks?
not
All
for
right, so that's 20.
Okay.
I have let's see, that's 5 plus 10 is 15 is 23.
Okay. So Maeve, you know that this is clearly some kind of magical curse. And it's very obvious to you from the sort of aura you get from Catherine itself. You get a sense that magic was clearly used in the creation of this curse, and in the manner that it presents itself. It drains life force from creatures, clearly, that come into contact with bare skin, which in itself is like a magical phenomenon. And it appears to be necromantic in nature, because it's stealing life from people. And Rhiannon, as a witcher, you can see that this is clearly a curse of some sort. The whole time your medallion's kind of just been humming gently, that you've been in the presence of Katrin, it's been humming, which is a big indicator of magic use. And the breaking of a curse, is typically found in the way that it was cast, or something about how it was cast. So you'll need to find the person who cast the curse. You need to learn typically what they said. And you would also need to know what kind of ritual they did in order to, cast it. And this is a very powerful curse. The kind of, it drains life force from other people. So you can kind of get the impression that either a sorceress or a mage, someone with magical skill, helped this, either cast it themselves or they helped someone to cast it. And you need to know if someone with a very strong sense of resentment must have cast this. Somebody that, usually it's somebody that the victim personally knows has personally wronged in some way these kind of curses. So you would know that you need to find out if somebody really resents Katrin for any reason.
Rhiannon just listens to Katrin and kind of looks down at her feet, and then she looks up again. She's like, someone must really hate you for basically turning you into an alive wraith, so to speak. So, do you who have you pissed someone on the shoes recently or something? Who?
Maeve kind of chuckles a little at that. And
you must have some strong enemies.
The last patient I had before the curse took place was Lady Iria's young boy, and he fell from his horse. An accident, but he broke his ribs, and there was nothing I could do. He died while I was treating him, and just the wounds, he had internal wounds that I could do nothing about. Only magic could have saved him, that I do not possess. And the lady she blamed me. I think she looks around and seems like a little bit not sure if she should tell this, but then I met her daughter, who also died by my hand. Before that, she brought me to the lady and her brother to save him, and maybe she promised too much. Maybe she thought I could help. She understood that I couldn't. I explained it to her. I was with her. I was consoling her for the loss of her brother, and that's when it happened, when this took place. And you can see the claws that are still out. She is at the table, and she's just basically pulling them back into fists. And you can see how it's just scratching off the wood with ease.
As soon as Katrin mentions Lady Iria, she lets Katrin talk, but she just kind of looks over at Maeve. And as soon as Katrin stops talking, she's like, do you have anything to do with this? Because, like Sarah said, this is such a strong curse that someone with magical powers had to have helped it. And for all I know, Maeve is part of the court of Lady Iria, so she's like, did you do this? Is this your doing?
First, Sarah, would I be able to roll something to see if Maeve is kind of believing what Katrin's saying?
You could do a human perception.
All right.
You want to?
Yep. Ooh, that'll be a 18.
Yeah, you get the sense she's telling the truth about this.
Kind of. Right. Maeve kind of nods for a moment and says, I don't know about who cast this. I was simply asked to hunt down this. She kind of looks to Katrine and what the lady has been calling a monster who killed her daughter and her son.
Well,
Then Catherine,
see,
like 3 other people too.
The lady was not all that interested in those 3 as much as she was the 2 I named.
apparently your lady also wasn't very interested in telling you the whole truth about this situation.
Maeve kind of nods. Says, I get that too now. She did really seem to want your head no matter what.
Rhiannon is kind of like debating with herself whether to get involved or not, because this is clearly some kind of politics bullshit.
It's a mage, of course there's politics bullshit going on.
And she's kind of like, do I want to deal with this? It's not a monster technically. So she's like, yeah, she gets up from her bucket and she points at Maeve and she says, "We have a date with your lady right now." And then she starts leaving.
Okay.
As you leave, Catherine says, maybe it is better if you bring her my hat. What good is a doctor who can only kill and not heal?
Maeve kind of looks at, shakes her head, says, we'll find a way to break this, or at least find a way to write it.
Yeah. I
might serve her, but I don't agree with everything she's doing.
Yeah.
Especially if it's calling for the death of someone innocent.
Yeah, Rihanna just kind of stands in the door and she's like, every curse can be reversed. So whatever. Yeah, she actually kind of like struggles for words to like say something more, and like she wants to say something like uplifting and supportive, which is kind of like, we'll deal with it, and then she leaves.
Okay.
I have to think of something happy, can't think of something happy, just walks out anyways.
Witches aren't great with emotions.
No.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're dulled.
She's just kind of like, listen, just don't worry about it. We'll deal with it.
Yeah. Maeve will kind of walk out as well with behind the Witcher. And then once they're kind of out there, she kind of catches up, I assume, because you're walking probably a bit faster than she is, because you started off earlier.
Yeah, a brisk jaunt.
Yeah. And I hope you know how angry she is going to be with this.
Yeah, Katrine, Maeve and Rhiannon, this Witcher and this Sorceress, like the 2 most unlikely allies you would think in this situation, are clearly going to go and confront Lady Iria on your behalf.
Duh.
What do you want to do? They kind of just, have left.
She like is lost for a moment, and then she just she waits for a moment, and then basically realizes they have been a lot of people. Maybe someone like watched them, a sorceress and a witch especially. They draw attention, and she has a feeling if she stays there alone, there might already be people readying the pitchforks and torches.
Yeah.
So she basically just follows them and is like, maybe I should come with you.
Maeve kind of looks. It might be for the best that you don't, or at least stay back a little. She might have her guards just outright kill you. She asked me to only bring your head. Just
She pulls up her thing again, and
I mean, Rihanna is still walking, but she's like, I mean, technically, we are. She didn't say anything about the head not being connected to the rest.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
it was implied multiple times that she would prefer it to be separated.
I don't much. I don't know your lady personally, but I don't much care for what she prefers so far. And honestly,
Just wait.
It's-
Once you get to know her, it's even worse.
it's probably better when Katrin comes with us. At least then we can keep an eye on her.
Just be careful.
Yeah.
Because
We don't know how many headhunters your lady has hired, other than you.
and technically you.
Okay. So you're heading off for Lady Aria's manor house, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's at the top of this like kind of slope that Adonet is built on. And the road is very sort of winding and long, especially because you go through the back alleys for the most part. As you know, Katrin directs you. And you eventually come out into the main road, and immediately you aren't like beset upon or anything. It's like immediately people are kind of drawn to like their windows, just watching. A few people who are outside quickly scamper off and shut their doors. You hear the bolts kind of sliding across.
Mhm.
And as you approach the manor house, you know, it's this very sort of grand, ornate building that you're very used to seeing the nobility having. It's very Temerian in style. So, you know, very sort of simple but effective looking, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So the brickwork is practical but like nicely colored. You know, there's a few pillars and nice clean windows in like a very sort of clean cut arch style. And as you approach, you see a few servants immediately like stumble to get out the way. You you hear one kid, one small child scream upon seeing Rhiannon's face. Um, you know, seeing that it's a Witcher, it runs away. And somewhere, you know, there's like a baby crying, dogs begin barking, and a few like cats that sort of like roam around their servants' home areas, immediately like arch their backs and spit as the Witcher walks past. As you know, Rhiannon, that cats are very sensitive to witches for some reason. Dogs aren't as affected by it. Horses are, but they usually train Witcher horses like your own horse that you have so that they don't balk. But yeah, the cats begin hissing and running off. You know, they're all fluffed up, basically, tails fluffed up and ears back. And as you approach the doors, you enter like the sort of receiving hall, I guess you would call it, receiving room area. No servants will approach you. They all seem genuinely terrified.
Good.
And good. And yeah, at this point, you can hear a couple of them. Like, they begin like, you know, running upstairs. You hear people calling out for Lady Area, and and you then hear a heavy footfalls of sort of like armored boots, and you recognize these footfalls as belonging to none other than Olsen, who opens the door and looks at you all and says, "You got a lot of nerve being here."
So do you.
Do I though? I work for Lady Area. So does that bitch over there, and like points at Maeve really disrespectfully. Yeah, this guy's like clearly an asshole. And Maeve, you know that he's like a hired mercenary anyway. Like he only has any allegiance to Lady Area because she's the one giving him coin. And he brandishes his sword, and like there are 3 other guards who also come in like behind him, and he sort of does like like a sort of spin of his blade in his hand, and he says, "You 3 take care of the rest. The witch is mine." And that's where we will take our break for 5 minutes.
Ah, great.
Just before we roll initiative. Fun times. But during this break, you can enter the raffle for our giveaway. I think it's the !heroes command.
Yes, as soon as I enable it, because
Yes,
that's something I
as
have to
soon as
do.
there's like a message about it. And the giveaway is very kindly sponsored by Our Talstorian Games, the creator of the Switcher TTRPG we are playing. And you can win a PDF copy of the core rulebook so that you can play with your friends. And yeah, it's very good. And it's also got some updates and things coming out this year, which are all very exciting. One of them being the Witcher's Journal, which is like a big bestiary expansion. So you should definitely check that out. But yeah, is the raffle open yet?
Not yet. I have to log into Streamlabs on the browser.
Fair enough.
We'll go into the break. I'll set it up.
And then there will be a message in chat that says when you can enter.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
Okay, we'll catch you all in about 5 minutes.
yeah.
We're back, yeah?
Yeah.
Yay! Hi. Okay, so we are now starting combat. We have Olsen and 3 other guards. Olsen is determined to try and kill our Witcher. We'll see how that works out for him. Because we know how the Witcher games go. Everybody thinks they can take on Geralt and then they die immediately. So poor Olsen. Good thing he's like not a nice person that anybody cares about.
He gets all that's coming to him.
He gets what's coming to him. So roll initiative, which is a d10 and then plus your reflex.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That is a 19.
19.
Oh, where's my? There. I'm like trying to find my character sheet.
It's all right.
Mine'll be a 17.
17.
16.
Okay. Okay. Rhiannon, you are up first.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically in like this receiving room in the manor house, which is like a kind of a big like drawing room. You got plenty of space to, swing your sword around and cast spells. Well, cast signs, because witches don't actually have magic; they just have very basic magic. But yeah, same thing.
They have magic, but they don't have special.
Yeah.
They have magic, but not real magic.
Not real.
They've got like party tricks.
They can do some prestidigitation, but that's about it.
Okay. Okay. Rhiannon doesn't have her sword drawn yet, so she's like, we really have to do this. All right. And then all the guys kind of like bunched up together.
Not really. So there's like Olsen, who's about 5 feet in front of you, and then like kind of behind him, by like maybe about like 5 or so steps, are the 3 others, but like they've kind of spread out because obviously they're going around to get Katrine and Maeve at this point.
Okay, so I would not be able to catch them all in a, say, 2-meter cone.
You'd be able to catch Olsen and like the person who's behind them.
Okay.
Like the other guard behind them, so you'd be able to get them too specifically.
Okay. In that case, I'm not gonna do that. Instead, Rhiannon will lift her right hand, and do you know the gesture for Axie?
For Axie, Axie is the mind control one, right?
Yeah.
So it's 1, 2, 3, and then push.
Okay. Yeah, she.
Why do I know that? I know it. There you go.
None of us are surprised that you know this.
No.
Shut up.
Yeah, she just kind of takes a few steps. Like she starts walking towards him. Does the gesture and casts Axie on him, and
Okay.
I'm gonna use. Hang on, how much stamina do I have? 40. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, Axie stuns an opponent until they make a stun save at -1. For every 2 points of additional stamina you spend past 1, the stun save becomes harder by 1 point. Okay, so I'm gonna spend 5 stamina to cast Axie for a stun save of -3. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, stun save -3. So he's stunned now. Or no, wait, I have to first actually cast the magic. And if he has it, he can use resist magic to defend against it.
He does. No. Oh, he does.
He does? He has resist magic? Okay. Let's see. What was my... I have to look up what I actually roll for the magic.
He got 15.
Okay, Will plus spellcasting skill plus 1d10. What's my spell? Oh yeah. Okay. So that's okay. So that's a 10
Mhm.
plus 10
Mm-hmm.
plus 4 is 24.
Yep. That definitely beats his 15.
Okay. So now he's stunned.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
just
He kind of like he doesn't let go of his sword, but he kind of like almost like his eyes kind of go a bit blank, like glazed over, and he sort of like just stumbles, like he doesn't really know why he's there anymore.
yeah. And then as I'm walking towards him, I'm gonna draw my sword with my left hand, which, as the rest of the people can see, has kind of a brace which like makes her fingers look like this. So I only have like
Yeah, 'cause
three
you've got
basically.
a crush injury. Yeah.
Yeah, she had her fingers crushed at some point, and she's gonna go to town on him. Do a
Okay. Well, it was an action to cast your spell.
exactly. That's why I'm
So-
spending stamina to make an extra
right.
attack.
Okay. Yep, that's fine.
And that's at -3, so I'm gonna do a fast strike.
Okay.
So that's a 10, 15, 17 on the attack.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And your damage?
Does he get any extra damage because he's stunned?
No, I don't believe so. And anyway, his chance to like try and move out the way is minimized anyway, and he didn't make it. So.
Oh yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in that case, it's a fast strike, so it's 2 attacks.
Yep, it's 2.
So I'm just gonna roll for the other one as well, just right
Okay.
away. And that's a 3 plus 10 is 13 is 18.
Yeah, he also didn't make that either.
Nice. So it's
Rip.
2 strikes with my Witcher's Steel Sword,
Mm-hmm.
which is a 4d6 plus 4.
Yep.
So the first one is 10, 15, 17, 21 plus
Rip.
21, 31, 41, 45 points of damage
Yeah.
to his torso.
Yeah. Okay. He is like stunned as you approach. He doesn't seem to really know where he is. But like when he looks at you, he kind of recognizes you. Maybe he's not entirely sure. Like that glazed sort of look over his eyes, and you immediately go in with the Griffin style of attacking, which is very different from how you would picture it if it was Geralt doing this. If it's Geralt, it's more pirouette style, like a dance. The Griffin is medium build, so it's more about using your force. So basically, you cut up once and then cut back down on a backswing.
Yeah.
Essentially.
She likes doing like swooping motions with a sword, so she kind of like holds her like actually like down like this.
Yeah.
And as she goes forward, she kind of like slashes him. I'm right across the chest. And then in the motion, she kind of brings it down again, and just stabs him right into his sternum.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Olsen is like the first cut completely like renders the front of his armor open, and cuts through. It's a deep cut, and he seems. Yeah, it seems to snap out of him the charm on Axie at that, like feeling pain. But before he can even do anything, you just ram your sword straight through his sternum. And he blinks at you for a moment, kind of like surprised, like without the effect of Axie now. And he kind of seems to be realizing he should be in pain. He's dying. And he sort of like clumsily, like he's dropped his sword at this point. He's clumsily sort of like grabs at your sword with like his hands, sort of cutting them open. And then you just sort of hear him say, fucking Witcher, and then just collapses and slides off your sword onto the ground.
Yeah, she
and
just as she like had stabbed him, she just kind of like drives her sword deeper into his sternum, like gets close, and she's like, as he says that, she's like, "Told you," and then she just like lets him slump to the ground.
yeah, the other three guards are like stunned for a moment, and you think that they're not going to do anything, maybe. But seeing their like leader like be killed by a Witcher, they immediately like become irate. They're angry. They start shouting "fucking freak" at you and "monster," and immediately, yeah, they all sort of like lunge in for all three of you. And Maeve, it's now your turn.
So, question: how many of them are grouped up within a 3-meter cone?
You could probably get two of them. The one that's sort of now heading for Rhiannon, and the one that's heading for you.
Do it. This is more fun. I'll just instead of that, I'm going to cast Afan's Mirror.
Okay.
So within, I just need to roll something for this. I have to roll to cast the spell too. Can't remember.
I don't think so. I think you just have to spend your vigor.
Yep.
It's I think it's always when you cast a spell, it's always the D10 plus your will.
Casting.
Yeah, plus will plus spell casting.
I know that part. Okay.
Will and spell casting.
Yeah,
I have them on mine. I have them all mixed together.
Okay, that's right.
To see if
so much easier.
Yeah, to see if it takes hold at all. The spell.
All right, that's a 20. So I'm assuming that takes hold.
Yep, that definitely does.
And then I have to roll a d10 to determine how many illusory clones I make. So you guys see, well, for a moment, you see just 9. Now you see 10 Maeves total. I rolled a 9 on the die. 10 versions of Maeve now are on the field, pretty much, within a 10-meter, I think, range. And she kind of looks to the charging soldiers and says, "Put down your weapons, or you're going to get burned."
Oh my god, are all of the clones saying that too?
I believe they all
Yeah,
can.
they
Yes.
do.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, so like, they will speak as one, in a very eerie sort of illusion. Is that your turn, Maeve?
For now, yeah. I think just the intimidating of that, of having 10 mages now appear out of nowhere.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the bandits don't seem to be like dissuaded at all. And the one in front of you, Maeve, is gonna swing.
Does he swing at me or one of the clones?
He's gonna swing at you because he knew where you were when you cast this, so he can tell that it's you. And that is 6 plus, give me a second, plus 6 is 12. 10 plus 6. That's 22 with his sword.
Okay.
So you can make a dodge.
I'm definitely gonna be trying to dodge. Ooh, 9 plus, where's my thing? 14, so 23.
Ooh, yeah, he just misses. He swings his sword at you, and you manage to dip out the way, but he kind of snags like the dress you're wearing slightly, like one of the sleeves. He nicks it.
Oh, he's dead.
And yeah, sort of like cuts it open slightly. And one is going to try and swing at you, Catherine.
Oh no.
That is 5, 6, 21.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Dodge as well.
dodge as well.
Yep.
Oh, specifically, there's 2. You can dodge with athletics and with dodge escape. I'm gonna basically she's just trying to get away from him at all.
Yeah.
Trying to jump back.
The athletics thing is called repositioning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
and I got a 16.
Okay, yeah, he hits you with his long sword. That is 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2, 6. God, I'm so bad at math. um, yeah, so that's 6 points of damage. He sort of like swings his sword and like catches you, not anywhere very dangerous. He just catches you like on your upper arm, so you got a nasty cut from this blade. And the other one that's still standing is going to swing at Rhiannon because someone's feeling brave.
Someone's feeling really brave.
And
Someone's
that's
feeling real.
that's
Try
a
me.
10.
Try me, bitch.
That's a 26.
Okay. Is the first like defense free, or do I always spend like stamina for any defense?
You spend stamina for defense, but like you can dodge for nothing.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm gonna try to dodge.
Yeah, it's only defense that you have to spend stamina on because obviously you're taking the impact of a sword or a spell. So.
Okay,
The first
9.
defensive action is always for free.
Oh, is it? Okay, then you
Yep.
can use your first defensive action for free then.
Okay.
And then after that, it becomes stamina use.
Okay.
Okay, 9 plus 10 is 19, plus 5, 24.
He got 26. Yeah, there we go. So he still hits you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you slam your blade up to defend it, but he catches like your hand basically.
Mm-hmm.
9. That is 11 damage from his sword. I'll say he does it to your hand, your arm.
Okay, nice. In that case, I don't take any damage.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, that's right. I could
Yeah, the armor.
reduce that by armor, but I mean, he didn't deal that much damage. So it's fine.
Okay. Katrine, it's your turn.
Yeah. He like slapped her, so or stabbed her or slashed at her. So out of instinct, she's actually going to pull out a dagger and is going to try and stab him back. And since she knows that she is greatly outmatched in terms of weapon length and such, she's basically trying to get in, and she's going for like some kind of like, where would he be like weaker armored, more or less, where she can find
so
like
like
a
you
weak.
have like the joins between like leather pauldron and tabard, so you have
Is
like
he smart and is he wearing a
joints.
helmet?
He is wearing a helmet.
Okay, he's smart.
Just because it seems to be part of the uniform, more than anything else. But you can see like definitely there's like joins like and his knee and stuff where you can easily get a blade in.
Yeah, she's basically trying with a dagger to like get him here.
And I'll also point out that the his hands are not gloved, so it's bare skin.
Oh. Then she's trying to disarm him by stabbing him in the hand, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, she can't unhand him because
Okay.
I don't think a dagger has that much stopping power against bone.
Depends on how well you roll.
Yeah.
There is a disarm attack, like a special attack thing you can do.
Oh yeah, right. I saw that.
It's by making a weapon attack, you can attempt to knock an opponent's weapon out of their hand. If you succeed, you knock the opponent's weapon from their hand and send it flying 1d6 meters away. So you just do your normal attack, and if it succeeds, then
we're doing that. And I rolled really well. I rolled a 10, so that is 20 total.
Okay. No, he didn't succeed. So.
Yeah, I basically just do the thing where I spin his blade out of his hand, and it lands. It was 1d6 meters.
Yeah,
yes.
1d6 meters.
Yeah. Then it's 2 meters. It flies away.
Yeah, it kind of like.
Could I try and catch it?
For the extra flourish.
You can do, I will say, an athletics, I guess, check, and I'll say it's but with a -2 penalty to it.
All right.
Because you're trying to catch a sword out the air, which is hard.
That is 13.
13. Okay. No, you don't manage to catch it. You kind of like go to grab it, but you just miss, basically.
I go to grab
And
it and realize, oh wait, I
yeah,
would be catching the spinning blade, maybe not.
Wait, this is a dumb idea.
it gets thrown to the side and it hits the wooden wall where it sort of takes a chunk out of the woodwork, and then clatters onto the ground. Yeah, this soldier like basically really angry. Just kind of like makes a really like angered noise. And it's now Rhiannon's turn.
Mhm. Okay. So there was a dude who attacked me, and I did not appreciate that. So
Yeah, he's right in front of you.
hmm.
The hit landed, but it just cut into your armor, which is very expensive because Witcher armor is very expensive.
Huh. Yeah, that didn't do much. Like it kind of just like I actually have like an elven enhancement on my chest armor, so it just kind of like it looked like it cut into the fabric, but it just glanced off instead.
The thing was, is he hit you in the hand.
Oh right,
Mm-hmm.
but that
He hit
okay
you in your
that's still the same armor. Okay, it still counts. Like
Okay.
it should have cut into her glove, but it's for some reason it didn't.
Yeah.
And Rhiannon just kind of gives him a very grim smile.
Mm-hmm.
And like just is there something like a is there something like a versatility when I grab my one-handed sword in two hands? Is there something like that?
No, I don't think there is anything like that, but I will
Okay.
check the rules again just in case I missed something. But
Okay.
I don't think there is.
In any case, she will just like take her sword and just like try to bring it down on him, make a strong attack.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna try and defend against that, I guess.
So that's
10.
10, 5.
You got a 22.
Okay, good. That's I make mine with a -3, so that's 26.
Yeah. Yeah. He, for a moment, he's able to force your blade back, but yeah, no match. So, deal your damage.
Yeah. That's double damage. Yeah, right. So it's 5, 10, 14 plus 4 is 18 times 2 is 36. 36 points of damage.
Okay, yeah. You see his arms like shake, trying to hold the sword away. But you basically drive down as hard as you can. And your sword basically just goes straight through the kind of like helm of his helmet, like the front part, just through the head. And so like to the point where like when you have to take it out, you basically have to like twist and try and pull as hard as you can to get it out. Like put your boot basically on his chest and force him off your sword. He's dead.
Yeah, I just split him right open.
Split in twain.
Yeah, like the helmet is like basically like caved in at the front.
Also just for reference, I don't know if you've had that on your notes or whatever. My sword has armor piercing.
Yeah, hence why that it went through the helmet like that. Yeah,
like
yeah, I know it comes with armor piercing.
Okay.
Okay. And it's now Maeve's turn. Maeve and the other 9 Maeves.
Maeve, all the Maeves kind of in unison turn to look at this one guy and she says, I warned you. As a ball of fire shows up in her hand and she's going to throw it.
Yeah.
Spell casting. That'll be a 20.
Okay. Resist magic. Yeah, he failed, so deal your damage.
Ooh.
Incinerate this man.
I'm about to end this man's whole career. Let me just grab a couple more d6s because it's 4
About
d6.
to end this man's whole career.
Light up his life here.
Yeah.
Ooh. 10. So that'll be 20 points of damage to him.
Yeah. You basically, throw this, hurl this ball of fire, and immediately this man is just alight. Every available piece of fabric that's flammable on him is just lit up. And the heat is so intense, it basically heats up the metal plating on his armor and just cooks him through. And when you withdraw the spell, he's just crumpled on the floor, basically like charred. And this one bandit who is left, who was fighting Katrine, sort of is like overwhelmed with absolute panic. And he tries to run basically back out the room, and he's like screaming at you. He's going, "You fucking freaks, a lot of you," and just runs. He's gone. He's bolted. It's up to you if you want to chase him or not.
Yeet.
Catherine is not going to chase him. She's just glad she didn't have to kill anyone.
Yeah, that's fair.
She just got rid of a sword. That's it.
Oh, I cooked
She's pretty
this guy.
proud of herself. Like, she looks down on her arm where she was cut and is like, this hurts a little. And
If-
she's like putting away her dagger and basically bandaging herself up as best as she can.
Yeah, you can do healing hands on that.
If only someone had picked up some sort of ranged weapon recently.
I wonder who did that.
I mean, Catherine has a bow, but she's
Bo isn't really good when they're in point blank range with you, though.
Yeah. So you can
no.
roll.
You actually get a +5 bonus on ranged attacks when they're like basically right in your face.
Yeah, so
Nice.
you could make me a healing hands check. What did you get?
16.
Yeah, so you can bandage it up. You can make me another one later or now if you want to try and like heal it up fully. It's basically a simple wound.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm so happy I got to use a fire spell. So
Hell yeah.
fun.
And incinerated a man.
Nice.
Roasted him.
As you're wont to do.
Did you get another healing hands check?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No worries.
That's dirty 20.
Yeah.
Wait, that is irrelevant here.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
20.
it's not D&D. But yeah, you managed to get it all bandaged up and sort of healed. It doesn't need stitches, but you've managed to like make a sort of compression bandage where it like holds the two pieces of skin together, so it should be like scabbed over by the end of today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Rhiannon is just kind of like wiping her sword off of the first dude that she killed. Like on his clothes, just kind of wiping the blood off and then putting it away.
Maeve kind of just looks at her dress, just kind of sighs, we have to get that repaired. Looks very annoyed, and then all the other Maeves kind of disappear.
Okay.
Yeah, Rhiannon turns to Maeve and she's like, maybe now would be a good time to call your lady for an audience.
She'll kind of look at her and look at Rhiannon and kind of chuckle a little. I think she already knows we're here, but let's go. Let's go have a talk.
Catherine is actually going to look at the bodies to see if any of them are still breathing.
You don't even need to make a check. No, one of them hasn't got a head anymore. Olsen is definitely dead.
Okay.
And the other one is just incinerated.
Yeah, she basically looks just at the bodies to see if any of them could like be helped.
No, unfortunately not.
And then she's like, did you turn to leave, more or less?
No, Maeve turned to go further in.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And she's like, should we just like leave them here like this?
Why not?
Yeah. Someone will clean it up.
Give them 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's usually people like me.
Give them 10 minutes. It's fine. They despawn. Um,
No, Maeve just kind of shrugs. The ladies' people can take care of them. We have someone else to deal with right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rhiannon starts marching towards what she assumes to be like an audience room or like a throne room kind of thing where the lady probably is.
Yeah, there's like you would know Maeve from your time here that there is basically like the big dining hall, and that's kind of where she would be if she was expecting guests, whether they were
Right.
wanted guests or unwanted guests.
We're both of those, so I
Mhm.
think that's where we need to
Yeah.
go. Yeah, Maeve will kind of take the lead.
Catherine, you can see like she's a little bit disturbed by this. Like she's seen a lot of like war injuries and such, but she's never like all that much in the middle of fighting.
Yeah, because from your years, like, you know, being an army medic, you were never actually on the front line other than like after battles to
Yeah,
like go
after
and
battle.
collect the wounded was your job. So yeah, you kind of have not seen this before. It's kind of a very new and possibly unwanted experience.
Also,
I mean, she
you know,
has
getting-
like vague memories about the time her town got attacked, but
Yeah,
that's been a long time ago.
yeah.
She does
It
not
would
like to think about it.
it would still definitely kind of invoke memories
Yeah,
of that time.
she seems definitely shaken by this. She's a bit.
Yeah.
She's not used to this.
Yeah, and you notice now that the house, well, the manor house, is kind of very silent. There aren't any servants around or anything. You got the feeling that people have fled upon hearing this fighting, and upon hearing, you know, that there's a witcher and a sorceress who is very angry, and they have brought a monster with them into the house. It makes sense that people have run away. And yeah, you approach the doors to this big hall. They are currently closed.
Maeve tries to just push them open.
Okay, yeah, you turn the handle and open them.
She does this as showy as possible, more or less busting in.
Okay,
Because it's Maeve and she's extra AF.
yeah. As you do that, Maeve, you open the doors, and with her back to you, kind of like on the dais at the end of the room, is Lady Iria. And she stands with her back to you in this sort of long black dress that she pretty much always wears. Her long black hair is like pinned up. And around her neck is what you know, Maeve, specifically that she wears, especially of late, that she's been wearing as like a black choker with a sort of stone set into it. You think it might be jet, a kind of expensive kind of stone, smooths down into a little disc.
Mhm.
And she has her back to the doorway, and you just hear her say, "Olsen, is that you?"
Maeve kind of just chuckles, says, "Sorry, wrong person."
Maeve. And she turns around and she says, "Well, can't say I entirely expected this. Maeve, I expected you to be here, but I thought the Witcher and the monster would be dealt with by now."
She kind of just shrugs, says, "You know, I'm not too happy about your men trying to kill me."
"I think you've forgotten that you work for me.
Those
Aretusa sent you here, and I can send you right back."
I am working for you. However, I don't think it's fit for you to try and kill me. I brought the monster as you asked, and
Catherine pulls
she-
down her
Mhm.
mask and pulls back her hood and just looks angrily at Lady Iria and, "Was it you that cursed me?"
"I have no idea what you're talking about, darling."
Rhiannon.
You know who I am.
Yeah, there's definitely recognition in her eyes.
Rhiannon hasn't even said anything yet. She just kind of like she waited for everyone to enter the room, and she's kind of like, okay. And she turns around slams the doors shut, and kind of like either locks it or puts the bolt in
Oh yeah,
front of
you
it.
can put the bar over it. Yeah.
Like bars the door, and then turns around again, and she says, "We'll try this again. Have you cursed her?"
She looks right at you, Rhiannon, and says, "You know, I've heard witches will do anything for coin. Kill the monster. 200 gold pieces."
Rhiannon looks up and kind of pretends to contemplate that offer. She's like,
I'm just gonna say, didn't she offer more for her to help her kill the monster earlier?
No,
too?
no. This is a set price that she did
So-
offer, 200.
Okay, I couldn't remember if she had offered more or
No,
not.
it's okay.
She's-
200 crowns she offered,
yeah, Rhiannon
which is a lot for a
Yeah.
witcher.
Rhiannon pretends to contemplate that offer, and she's like, "Well, I do see a monster here," and she looks like right at her.
And then she says simply, "Witches have a price. They always do. It's gold they want more than anything. I've dealt with plenty of witches in my time." And she says, just simply, 500. You'll never have to be a witcher again. On that kind of money.
Rhiannon takes a few. I assume there's like a long table in the
Yeah, there's
in
a
the
long
room.
table in this room, definitely. And she's like stood at like the far end on the dais. So
Hmm.
like you're basically at the other far end of the table.
Yeah. Rhiannon takes out her dagger, and she kind of like makes a few steps towards Katrin, who is like in front of her, and she basically stands right next to Katrin and the table, and she kind of like twirls the dagger around her hand, and she's like, "Well, with an offer like that," and she slams the dagger into the table, and she looks at Lady Iria and she's like, "I'm disinclined to take it." And then she kind of slowly starts walking towards Lady Iria, and she's like, "You know exactly how this will go. You will tell us what you did. And if you don't do it by yourself, I will make you. So, you have 10 seconds. And when I stand in front of you, I want you to start talking." And she just kind of like very slowly, kind of lazily, but with determination, kind of like strolls towards
Yeah.
her.
She says, "Makes sense that a monster would want to associate itself with monsters." And she says, "What of it? What if I did cast a curse? So what?"
You killed your own daughter. You killed the woman I loved, and then Catherine actually.
No, Catherine. You killed her.
Catherine is
Like you killed my
running.
son.
Catherine is running towards her
Mm-hmm.
and just grabbing her.
On the same side, on the same side
like
of the
here.
table where Rhiannon is, or on the other side.
On the other side.
Okay.
She's grabbing her and has her hand like this. Basically, this is the first time she actually threatens to actively use her powers for something. It's like, you can see like she's barely in control of herself. She's like,
Yeah.
I didn't kill your son. Being a doctor is, sometimes things go wrong. And if you hadn't cursed me, your daughter would still be here.
And she looks at your hand, Catherine, and then she looks at you and she says, "Do it. Prove to the Witcher you are a monster."
Rhiannon is still slowly walking towards her. It's like
Yeah, at
totally,
least we got the confession from her.
yeah, totally not alarmed at all.
Yeah, and she says, I see why you brought the witch in now. Witches break curses, right? Well, if you kill me, it'll never be broken. You'll die like this.
Catherine just throws her basically away from herself.
Yeah, she like staggers
Towards-
back, rights herself against the table.
and just then like gets back from her just to like not accidentally kill her because she knows she's the simplest touch can kill her.
Yeah.
Rhiannon kind of like it's at this point she's probably like there, and she kind of interposes herself between Katrin and Lady Iria, and she just kind of like looks at Katrin and nods, and then she looks at Iria and gives her the meanest smile she can muster. And then she grabs her like at the scruff of her neck.
Okay.
And she's like, you know, she would have just killed you. I won't. I'm gonna have fun. So you're gonna tell me right now what you did exactly. And I'm gonna try to intimidate her.
I was about to say you can roll me an intimidation check.
If this fails, I have a backup plan, guys. Don't worry.
Oh, that's a 10 plus will, and because I don't have an imitation, that's a 20.
Okay, 1 second. 8 plus will plus courage. So what did you get, sorry?
20.
Okay, she got 17 on courage. So she kind of like, you see like a bit of resolve in her for a minute, well, for a moment. And then it kind of crumbles, upon looking in your eyes and seeing your teeth
Yeah.
snarling at her.
To emphasize my point, I can like ball my fists and make my fingers crack and everything.
Yeah, you make your point. And Lady Iria, instead of like becoming really scared, she kind of becomes angry, but not angry at you, angry at Katrin. And she grabs hold of your like the bracer around your wrist, Rhiannon, to sort of like stand upright a bit more. And she says, "So what? So what? I cursed the bitch. She deserved it. She killed my son. And then she ruined my daughter. She was going to be engaged. She was going to be married off to a lord of Beauclair. She would have wanted for nothing. And then Katrin ruined her. And the lord found out. And he took away the engagement. She signed my daughter's death warrant."
I don't
You can
care.
see Catherine just shaking and just I didn't ruin her. We made each other complete, and you ruined us.
And Lady Iria just shouts back at you, "No, you killed her. She had to go."
Maeve kind of finally speaks up, watching this whole thing. I feel like she just kind of sat down at the table, relaxing a bit, and just says, "I guess the Witcher was right. There is a monster here. Definitely isn't her." And she kind of looks to Katrin.
Yeah. Rhiannon will give Iria a hard gloved slap across the face. And
Okay.
she'll be like, "What did you do? Exactly. What did you do? How did you curse her?"
And at this point, Lady Iria's hands are like shaking with her holding onto your bracer. And she says, "I did what I had to. She ruined my daughter, so I used my daughter to ruin her." And Rhiannon, you get the implication there on how exactly this curse was cast.
So she basically sacrificed her daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I roll
At
like
this
my
point,
witch
Catherine,
knowledge?
like she stumbles back and just like sinks down at the wall, and just like hands like basically curls up into a ball,
Okay.
Mhm.
and just you can see her basically just shaking, and this is basically her trying to not
Yeah.
trying to do something she might regret.
Yeah. Rhiannon shoves Lady Iria into her seat, like into the chair that's behind her, like makes her sit down and draws her sword and just kind of holds the tip at her throat. And then can I like roll my witch knowledge to see how I would reverse a curse like that?
Yeah. Roll me a Witcher
And
knowledge.
would I be able to roll something too to kind of?
You'd be able to roll magic training.
Yay.
Okay, 17 plus 5 plus 10 is 22.
18. I do
Okay,
not
you
have much
both.
in magic training. Jeez.
You both know that you would you'd need to hear what was said in order to cast the curse. And certainly who helped this woman, because this is not your average everyday kind of curse.
Yeah. Yeah, Rhiannon has her like on the tip of her blade. She's like, "What did you say? Word for word. I want to hear it."
Okay. And she sort of shakes her head. Her resolve is kind of going at this point. And she says, "A Skelliger man told me what to say. A druid. It was, I don't know, it was elder speech." And she says, "Give me a minute. Let me think."
Rhiannon just kind of casually like pokes the tip of her throat, like right here, like into the skin a little.
Yeah. And yeah,
Better
lady.
think fast.
Yeah. Iria just kind of like, you could see, like, even for a lady, this is very like against social etiquette. She wants to spit at you basically, but she doesn't. She holds it in. Like her look is basically venom. She's really pissed.
I'm used to it.
And she thinks, and she says, "Ea gesh tehal, tera essa nien vetro, ap tera gesh ai, tera essa gesh heal, an karya te gesh es, ted essa sakes in ina, ea dienen in mi ved ap het." And anybody who knows Elder Speech, you can roll me an Elder Speech check.
What constitutes knowing Elder Speech here?
If you've got the skill.
Okay, I don't. I have because I have intelligence 10. I have basically my base is 10 for
Yeah,
Elder Speech, so I don't know if that's
25 for me.
25. Okay. Rhiannon, if you have Elder Speech.
Well,
Sophia says she rolled a 9.
Technically, I don't, because we changed it to Nordling.
Okay, no worries.
But
then
no,
I'll say, Maeve, you know this to mean, in a general translation, "I curse your health or your healing. You will know no trust. As you curse or wronged me, you will steal or curse health and life. Your curse is set in stone. One day you will be sorry for what you have done. I offer my child as recompense."
So yeah, Maeve will kind of sit there for a moment and then kind of look to the other two to see if they understood what she said. And assuming not, she just kind of say it back to them in the common tongue.
Yeah.
in Nordling, I believe. Then
I'm not sure which one it would be.
Yeah,
but...
common is Nordling.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually have a worse chance of reading Nordling than I do Elder.
Yeah, that's usually common for mages, so to be fair.
Yeah,
And also like I'm an elf, so
Yeah.
Rhiannon does Rhiannon's face does not move an inch. She's just like has her gaze fixed on Lady Iria, and yeah, she's just thinking about what to do to reverse the curse. Like she knows what's said now. She knows how she did it. Like what does Rhiannon have to do to reverse that kind of like sacrifice curse?
Yeah, well, there's like this sort of, heavy silence now that's sort of fallen on the room, this sort of oppressive quiet. You can all make me a deduction check. Sorry.
16.
18.
17.
Okay. You think about the basically the wording of the curse, and you understand the offering of the child to be her daughter that died, and you obviously can also see the whole like where the curse touch comes into this. But the one line that stands out to you is the one that's your curse is set in stone.
So she probably carved it somewhere.
And you could also deduct specifically Rhiannon and Maeve that when people cast curses are strong and there's like an item or a place that the curse is held, it's usually very close to the person. Like they don't kind of like just leave it around for anybody to find it, basically.
Would such an item tick off my medallion?
Yeah, and while you've been in this room, your medallion has been going off.
Granted, I'm gonna continue to say this. It probably is always going off because Maeve always has magic on her. She has glamour.
Yes,
always on her.
So. There is that. But like they're not the same kind of humming that you were getting from Katrine and Maeve, where it's like a dull sort of humming. You're getting like a genuine pull, and your medallion's kind of like pulling straight forward. I'm pulling my witcher medallion myself, but it's kind of like pulling kind of straight forward at Lady Iria.
Probably her necklace. Mabel kind of views.
It's the choker with the. I was like when I heard it's set in stone.
Yeah, that's what me.
Because you specifically like even when you like just read the translation and the mentioning of the choker early, I was like, oh.
Yeah. As soon as you mentioned the choker, I'm like, something's up with this because it's a black stone, and generally black stone equals evil thing.
Rhiannon.
Say, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What does Maeve say?
Like, such a pity. It's a rather pretty necklace.
Yeah, Rhiannon looks down and kind of like moves the sword to her choker. Is it like a tight sitting one, or is it like a necklace?
More like a sort of like velvet sort of like string. It's kind of loose, but a little bit close to the skin. It's not like a super tight one.
Okay, then Rhiannon will slip the blade under the velvet, and like the setting of the stone probably has like loops where the fabric is in. So she slips the blade through one of those loops and moves up to cut the velvet, and like pulls back her sword and like lets the necklace drop into her hand.
Yeah, and immediately like your medallion begins pulling at the direction of your hand.
Okay, so am I right to assume that I have to simply destroy this, or do I have to do something else?
You could try destroying it. Oh, come on. Don't say the thing that I said on the stream.
I made a joke for that exact reason. I'm like, I know she's going to see it and go, come on.
Put it on your belt. No. I am so sorry I ever said that to Doug Cockle.
No, you are. Don't lie to the people.
But yeah, you can try destroying it.
Okay. For the first time, she actually, like, she still has like the sword on like Lady Iria, and she looks back at Maeve and like holds out the necklace. Is like, should I smash it? Like actually asking her what she thinks.
Would Maeve? Should I roll something to determine if Maeve would think yes, smashing it would be the good idea, or?
You could, roll another magic
All
training.
right. Rolling magic training. Hey, that's a 17.
When these sort of items are destroyed, the magic kind of returns to the earth where it came from. So breaking it should at least get rid of the magic that's sort of binding this curse.
Yeah, Maeve will kind of say it'll break the magic in the curse, or it should at least release the magic from it.
Like, it's a start. And she kind of just like drops it and smashes it with her heel.
Okay. You can make me then a kick damage to it.
Okay. Kick damage is 1d6.
Yeah, 1d6 plus.
Plus 6 for me.
Mhm.
So that's 10.
Okay, yeah. You basically just crush it beneath your boot. Witches have spurs and stuff on their boots anyway for their horses, so you just kind of crack it off that. And the stone shatters. It doesn't like break like in half or anything. It immediately like splinters into like loads of little shards. And there is an eruption of magic. And what basically happens is kind of confined within this room is sudden like gale force winds. And everyone, Lady Iria, all of you, thrown back. And everyone make me a dodge check.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
18.
Okay.
21.
10.
Okay. So everyone, Lady Area, and all of you are just thrown back by this sort of like burst of magic, and these roaring winds. And you're sort of thrown into furniture, all of you. Like you sort of either hit the walls hard or you hit, cabinets and stuff, the table or chairs, and you all take minus 5 HP. And you hit the wall, Katrine, and take your 5 damage. And as you hit the ground, you suddenly feel like you are being pulled apart, ripped limb from limb. It's absolute agony. Make me a resist magic roll, please.
Ooh, that's good. That's a good one. 18. I literally can't roll higher.
Okay. There's this sort of like black wispy energy, and it's ripped from your body. You see it sort of come off you like almost like a second layer of skin. It's kind of ripped from you, and it's thrown up into this wind. The windows along the one side of the hall just shatter, and the magic is released out into the night. And you hear a scream, and as the winds sort of die down, you see it's Lady Area who suddenly collapses to the ground. And Katrine, you basically see that the nails that you had have receded back to their normal human length. You touch your face and it doesn't feel withered anymore. However, you still feel like something's wrong. You're not entirely sure. But it feels like the heavy weight that was on you, which must have been the curse, has been lifted. You feel lighter. And as this energy is expelled out of the room, everything is sort of dropped back to the ground. Furniture hits the ground. A few chairs are broken. The windows are all entirely smashed. All the glass blown outwards. And as you all get up, you see that Lady Area fails to.
Catherine, basically lying on the ground from just the sheer pain of something being ripped from her, but also like feeling this weight lifted of her, starts like just laughing slightly, like giggling as she gets up.
As Maeve gets up and kind of brushes herself off, checks her clothes.
Probably like picking one of the a splinter of like the some chair that hit her, and
she was
and
sitting on a chair, so
No, that's for Catherine. I assume because she was
Oh.
directly at the wall,
Yeah.
she was hit with something instead of the other way around more. So she like just picks off some splinters from her, just like, despite being like pretty roughed up by this point, she seems like you can see how she's just this change in her has definitely been positive. She seems a little bit euphoric almost, but in a strange, disconcerting way a little bit.
Yeah, Maeve's gonna walk up to the body though. Well, she'll walk up to the lady. It's
Yeah,
probably a body, but
Rhiannon will also climb off of the table that she was smashed onto and go to check on Iria.
Yeah, you approach her. She doesn't move, but you roll her over. You see she is still breathing, still alive, but her complexion and her she's no longer human looking exactly. She is monstrous looking. Her teeth are kind of ragged and sharp. Her face has been warped into something ugly and like not pleasant to look at all. Like almost kind of wolfish like, perhaps. You're not entirely sure. There's something, beast like about it. And there are claws protruding from her fingernails, and you can actually see out of her boots as well, that these sort of like clawed nails have pushed through the leather of her shoes. And you can both make magic training or witcher knowledge checks for this.
18.
16.
Hey, you both know that this seems to be what happens sometimes with curses. Is that if the sort of, not hatred, but like if the curse is broken, and sometimes a person's will, the person who it was initially cursed on, if their will is pretty strong, they can actually reflect the curse back onto the person who initially cast it. And the punishment that has come about from this curse that has been cast on Lady Aria is to forever be shown as the monster she truly is.
Okay.
She's
Rhiannon,
unconscious at the minute.
nice. Yeah, Rhiannon looks at her and she raises her voice. She's like, Miss Doctor, I think your what's it called?
Curse?
No, your expertise is needed here for a moment. So she calls for Katrine to come over.
Yeah, she like looks up for a moment after like she looks at her hands and like starts inspecting them, not really believing what she's seeing, and then like walks over and sees her for a moment, and the Lady Area for a moment, understanding. Did I do this?
She did this to herself.
This was her own fault.
You make sure that she'll live.
Because Catherine is careful and knows what the curse did to her, she's careful to actually check that her gloves, like, just get gloves on again, something to like, so she doesn't touch her with her bare skin, because she knows that she killed people that way, and she's pretty sure that even if she was sleeping, it would still happen. So, or unconscious. So she's now checking her, seeing if.
Because you weren't sure if she's actually injured, you could make a first aid check first to kind of check for any actual injuries.
That is a 24.
She doesn't seem to be injured exactly. Like she's got a few bruises and a few scrapes. Nothing that would like cause any lasting damage or anything that needs immediate healing. Stuff that will heal by itself. She seems to be just probably knocked out from like the strength of this curse or magic that has been rebounded onto her. And you know, as you're checking her over, she actually sort of like slowly blinks awake, comes back to herself. And she grabs your arm really tight, Katrine. She actually catches you where like there's bare skin on your wrist, and nothing happens. She doesn't die. There's no like immediate draining of her life, but she basically holds
And
your
neither
hand.
of mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Important.
She holds your arm really tight, and she sort of snarls with these monstrous teeth she has, and she says, "Get out."
She just like as soon as that happens, she like stumbles backwards, basically trying to get away because first of all, she like same the reaction of not wanting to be touched, and especially by her.
Yeah. Lady Area pushes herself above the ground. She sees you all there, and she says, "Get out! Get out before I call the guards on you, and I'll have you fucking hung."
Rhiannon looks at her deadpan, and she's like, "So I guess the contract is through."
You say that, and she just screams at you, "Fuck you!"
And Rhiannon's like, "All right," and then she turns around and just kind of like gives everyone like a actually looks like just leaves.
Yeah, Catherine just basically she was spooked the moment basically she got touched. She's already out the door.
Yeah.
She's basically currently
you-
already like getting the bolt away again.
And Rhiannon, you know this to be the customary noble thing of get out the town before a lynch mob comes after you, so you know to leave. It's time to go. And as you do, you hear this awful sort of like almost wolfish howling, but it has like a human quality to it. And you hear like what you assume, to be Lady Area screaming and crying. As she wails for two people. You hear her say Erwin and Helena.
Do we know Elena?
I think one
Well,
of us
Katrin
does.
knows both of them,
Yeah,
and
Katrin
Maeve
knows
also
her.
knows them.
Yes.
Yeah, Maeve knows them as Lady Area's son and daughter. She sounds like, like she's absolutely bereft.
Oh well.
You leave the manor house.
Yeah. Maeve kind of just walks out with the rest of the other two.
Sucks to be her.
Yeah.
And
as you leave, you go back out into the courtyard again where the servants are and everyone. Everyone's in their homes. They have barred the doors. No guards come after you. In fact, like a few run into the courtyard, and upon seeing you all sort of stagger back and kind of see if you're going to make the first move. They look like they do not want to engage.
Are they like blocking the way?
No, they kind of like came out from like one of the side parts of the house, like came towards the courtyard. So like the entrance to the courtyard is like that way. So you're still fine. They're just kind of like hanging back.
I assume also
it's
Maeve...
more they came running because they heard someone screaming and crying.
I assume also Maeve, before they leave, goes up to her wherever she was staying here and collects her things.
Yeah.
Because, she's not leaving any of her shit here.
Yeah, Rhiannon basically totally ignores the guards and just kind of like moves to get out of the courtyard. And I think
Katrin actually says, "Hexa, wait a moment, please."
Okay, she stops.
And she's like goes up to her and just a little bit reluctant because she's a bit, but then she just is like, and she's not sure, like she looks like she wants to go in for a hug, but isn't sure if she just should shake her hand or something like that. and then she does nothing.
I
Just
picture this is what
I-
Maeve walks out to after collecting her stuff. Just
Yeah.
like,
I owe you my life, my human life, everything, really. I
Don't worry about it.
I kind of want to repay you, but I do not have any coin.
You know, if I was in here for the coin, you'd be dead by now. So don't worry about it.
And she looks down at her, like where she has the brace on her. I think it was the left arm.
Yeah, the left hand.
Yeah, on her left hand. It's like, you seem to get injured a lot, and well, maybe I could travel with you. You could seem to use someone like me every once in a while.
She looks at her hand and is like, well, that actually wasn't a work injury, but you do have a point. But I don't really travel with people usually. Either way though, first of all, we should get out of here.
yes.
We can talk about anything else later.
There's one more thing I need to do
Okay.
before we leave. And
Of course.
would I know where Helena would be buried?
Yeah, Helena's buried in the sort of it's not a church, it's like 'cause they don't have those. Unless it's the Church of the Eternal
Crypt?
Fire. Wait, no, yes, they would have a Church of the Eternal Fire here. Yes, they would. So there is a Church of the Eternal Fire here, in which there is a family tomb for the Alfred family. So you are able to go there and visit her grave if you so wish. But do be aware that there is like a time constraint on you
Yeah.
having to leave.
She, like, Catherine is like, I'll be swift. I have all my things, and we can meet at my hut. Like, anything else I still have there.
All right.
And
Be quick.
yeah, and before, like, as she goes there, she does take like a little detour past a place where they Catherine and Helena like to hang out together, and she is picking some leaves off of an acorn tree.
Aw.
And that is basically the tree where they like to hang out. And then moves to the tomb, the family tomb, and just takes a moment to say goodbye to Helena. And as she's down there, she also turns around to like the Erwin's grave and just puts a hand on top and says, "I'm sorry you had to die so young. I'm sorry I couldn't save you." And then, well, she puts the leaves from the acorn tree on top of the Helena's grave, the tomb, and takes a last look, sighs heavily, and then leaves. Go to her hut.
Yeah, and after you've finished at your hut, gathering your things together, the hut isn't actually very far from the town gates, basically. And as you round the corner, you see the Witcher on her horse. So you see Rhiannon up on her horse, and Maeve sort of just waiting patiently for you.
Yeah, she has gathered her things and we can go.
Okay.
When we get to
And-
the next town, I think I'll owe you both a drink.
More than one.
And as you head outward from this town, it's early evening. The darkness is beginning to fall. But for you, Rhiannon, this is strange. The first time you've ever headed out onto the path with more than just your horse for company.
And your cat.
And your cat.
And my
for
cat.
company. And as the darkness begins to blade down across the sky, you leave the town of Adoned behind you, and the echoing, haunting wail of Lady Iria, cast to forever be the monster she truly was, fades into the distance. And that's where we'll end it for this week.
Nice.
Yeah. How exciting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on some adventures next week on the path. On the path, which means contracts, Scoia'tael at some points, I am pretty
Yeah.
sure. We'll get to meet Redanians, Temerians, Nilfgaardians.
Many people to meet
many
and light on
people.
fire.
Yeah, many people. Maybe we'll even meet the larger sorceresses at some point. Who knows? I have a lot of
Dave
things
hopes
planned.
not.
Yeah.
Many
I-
people who will undoubtedly try to fuck with the Witcher.
Yes, I
A
have
witcher and a mage.
I have a lot of things planned, including some people who will be coming to guest play certain
Ooh.
characters. So very
Yay.
exciting. Yeah, you can all do your plugs. So we'll start with Nova.
Okay. Hi, I'm Nova. You can find me on Twitter as Gift Nova Gaming. I do a bunch of other like TTRPG streams and video game streams on my own channel here on Twitch. You can all find that there on Twitter, like my schedule and stuff. And I don't have anything else, so go join the Discord. Heroes Without Limits has a Discord, which is steadily growing, and it's a really, really nice community of a lot of really cool people. So, yeah, check that out. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
I
Oh no,
did.
there it is. Haha.
You go.
See, yeah, click that link and go join the Discord.
Nova, while we do Hera's and Vex's plugs,
Yes,
you
I will
can
do
now
the-
close our competition, and then after we've done the last few plugs, we will then announce the winner. So,
Yeah.
Hera,
Yeah.
your plugs.
I'm Hera. You can follow me on Twitter at HeraHacks, where I sometimes tweet, oftentimes just retweet what these other nerds here are talking about. And yeah, also on Twitch, I sometimes stream. I kind of want to do that more. And while I stream, talk maybe a little bit about game design and about what I'm currently working on, which definitely needs a title because saying every time it's basically Stranger Things in 18th century Germany is getting a bit long. So it definitely needs a title, but that's what I'm currently working on, which will be fun. And yeah, I think everything else that might be plugged, Vex might be doing. Oh, where's she?
Yep.
She's
And Vex, your plugs.
All right. I'm Vex, Vexy Hexy on Twitter. You can also find me at you can find all three of us. So me, Nova, and Hera all on my channel every Thursday, 4:30 p.m. EST, where we play a D&D 5e thing, Retroverse, where we all play anthropomorphic characters. It's a blast. You can also find Hera and I both on Fridays, where we play on Scotty Hood's Scotty_H00D channel, where we play Retroverse as well. It's a blast too. And for me, you can find me at on Twitch at Fractured Moon D&D. I do streams and I do games there.
Okay. And I'll do my plugs last. So, Nova, if you draw a winner for us.
Yeah. Our winner is Aya Golender.
Hey!
Oh, Aya, yay!
Yay.
You have won yourself a PDF copy of the Witcher TTRPG. If you Well, Nova will send you a message for you to give her your email, which we will then pass on to our Talsorian Games, who will then email you a copy of the Witcher TTRPG core rulebook. And okay, my plugs. So I'm Mustang and or Sarah, really don't mind which. You can find me on Twitter at Mustang's Art. I just kind of hang out. I do disability advocacy for TTRPGs, kind of specializing, I guess, at the minute in in the Witcher TTRPG and D&D. And yeah, it's all very exciting. And last week on Sunday, over on Wandering DM's Twitch, I was part of a charity stream in which I actually got to play as a player for the first time in the Witcher TTRPG. Normally, I've only ever, game mastered it like I do here. And it was very exciting because I got to play with none other than Geralt of Rivia himself, Doug Cockle from the video game Witches, which was extremely exciting. I played Ren, who was a disabled bard, and she was very flirty and may or may not now be dating both Geralt and Dandelion, which I think is extremely funny. I made that tweet where it's like Ren has two hands, one for Dandelion and one for Geralt. It was very fun, and it was all for such a wonderful cause. It was for Special Effect, who are a charity who specialize in making video games accessible to disabled people. So, whether that's entirely modifying a game's layout so that someone can play, or making specialized controllers and such. They also hold events where disabled people can connect over video games. It's all about helping. Video games provide, as a disabled person myself, video games provide escapism sometimes on like those bad days where, it gets you down with chronic pain and chronic fatigue. Playing a video game can just be a nice outlet. And as well, it helps people connect. It gives you kind of like a social life, more opportunities for more friends, finding people who understand your position, and helping you connect with other people. It's really nice, and we managed to raise on Sunday alone. We raised £2,500, which was incredible, and that was really amazing. And I believe Realm One, if you go on my Twitter, you'll find them there, are currently still selling t-shirts that you can get, which kind of would just, especially for the event, there is a black t-shirt, a white t-shirt, and there's a mug, which all have the Search for Dandelion, which was the name of our session, or also known as the Revenge of Bunnyfur. But yeah, Kelly was pretty mad about that. But yeah, it was really good. And if you go and buy one of those shirts or those mugs, you can you basically 100% of the profit goes to Special Effect, and I think it's going on until either tomorrow or a week, or like another week. I'm not entirely sure. They will be announcing it soon. And as well, I GM this every Saturday. At some point during the year, I do not know when, I should have a podcast coming out of my long-term D&D game, which has kind of been going on for nearly a year now, which is terrifying to think about. Yeah, that's fun. We're kind of just going through like modules all together, following the same characters and big overarching storyline. Very, very, very like big, complicated D&D. My first time ever doing something like that. And I've just posted Wandering DM's Twitch into the chat here, so like you can click on that and watch the VOD of the Search for Dandelion on there. I believe it's also coming to YouTube soon. I'm not entirely sure. It's all closed captions. I managed to get closed captions on there, which was great. And I believe Wandering DM is going to use it on his future streams, which is also really good as well. We love accessibility. And as well, I think that's kind of everything except for the Zafir TTRPG. It's a tactical tabletop role-playing game. in which I did some disability consultation on making mechanics and rulings for sort of being able to play characters who are disabled, being able to role play them more truthfully and sensitively as well. And the disability rep in that game is very good. And Randy Knapp, who was in our chat earlier, I don't know if he's still here, maybe not sure, but he is the one whose game it is. He designed it all and everything, and it was an absolute delight working with him. He was very invested and very much cared about getting correct and very well done disability rep in his game. And I'm very excited for it being published, which I believe is soon. I'm not entirely sure when, but you can go to the Kickstarter, which I made a tweet about not that long ago, I think yesterday. So it'll still be very high up on my timeline on my Twitter. So you can find it there. You can basically go there and you can pre-book a copy of the book. You can either get, I think, a physical copy or you can get a PDF. It's up to you, or you can get both. Who knows? But yeah, thank you so much for coming and listening tonight. You know, I love The Witcher. I'm kind of a fan, you might say. So it was really nice getting to GM this, just a little bit of fan, but getting to GM this game like every week. Hey, leave me alone. Don't bully me. Not on stream. But
if you can't
yeah,
do it here, then what's the point?
But yeah, it's absolutely amazing, you know, that so many people turn up to watch this every week, and we will return next week with episode 3, and we'll be getting to see a bit more of Temeria now and exactly how the war has affected this place, and maybe we will learn a little bit about what's happened to Geralt of Rivia in this time. I don't know. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next week. So bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.